And welcome inside Delaware Live Sports, a special Little League presentation here in the midsummer. Nick Alessandrini alongside Joe Singles, Jason Winchell, Nick Halliday pops here as well. We are out in center field at Clark Field, the home of Newark National Little League, and we've got your District 2 state championship, the best of three here, as we are, or excuse me, best of three games here between Naamans and Midcap. So we've got both of the 12U All-Stars here today. Joe, should be a good one as we're underway. Chase Harden was leading off today for Midcap. He popped out to shallow second field. Declan O'Connor was able to make that catch for out number one. And here we are with Carter Nelson, the shortstop here in the two-hole.
Yeah, Swayze's a big kid here, throwing off the mound. He's except for that one pitch, he's been in and around the strike zone on almost every single one of his other pitches. So we'll see how that translates to to a short game or fast game, but either way, it is hot. He's got a curveball for strike three. Swung through that one, but it is hot and it is sticky.
It is sticky.
And that rain last night made everything a little damp.
Yeah, I tell you what. Yeah, we were supposed to be here last night at 7 o'clock. The rain pushed just a day into Sunday evening, and again, we've got the best of three for you here. The winner of this will be your District 2 state champions, and we've got some great games up and down the state. As we're going to welcome now in Cameron Hinkle. He's going to be on the mound today. He's batting third for Midcap. So 1-0 to get things started to Hinkle. You mentioned Swayze on the mound today for Naamans. As we get you the rest of the lineup for Midcap, Paul Kamenitzer in center field. He'll be batting cleanup. Then Jaden Mitchell, the right fielder, followed by Ben Chorlton. He'll be at first base. Brendan Zielinski, he'll be catching behind the plate today. And here's the 1-0 pitch to Hinkle. Hits that outside corner. That'll even it up at 1-1. Jacob Allen, he'll be batting in the 8 spot, playing second, and then Carter Bogan rounding out that lineup out in left field. This one hit hard down the third base side, but foul. So 1-2, Swayze ahead here for the third batter of the inning.
Yeah, they made the call pretty early last night, after it started raining and thunderstorming. They didn't hang on too long because it did. If you looked at it, the weather wasn't going away. Through 7 o'clock last night. So
it was coming down hard for a while. As Hinkle swings, will stay alive. Got a piece of that one. Fouls it back into the backstop. Count will remain 1-2 here to Cameron. As he'll be facing Swayze to lead off the next inning, as he'll be on the mound. Hit sharply up the middle, coming over to make the play for out number 3. That's Peter Hudson at shortstop. And he made a clean play there for out number 3. We're going to the bottom of the first. And welcome back inside Delaware Live Sports. The 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss as they're going to get him at first. A great job there by Cameron Hinkle to get the strikeout on Peter Hudson as we're going to head now to the third batter of the order here for Naamans. Again, sorry about the technical difficulties. The Cords, running back here. We're in the center field. And a nice big crowd here at Clark Field tonight for the District 2 state championship. So, Joe, it's 2 up, 2 down so far for Naamans, and that's going to bring up Luca Lazander here.
Yeah, we'll see if he can get the bat on the ball here. He does, but he hits it right at the shortstop for the third out of the inning. So
Nelson able to haul it in for out number 3. So Again, no runs, no hits, no errors here in the first inning. We're going to the second. It's your 2022 12 Under District 2 State Championship between Midcap and Naamans. We'll be right back on Delaware Live Sports.
First State Orthopedic statewide has 29 physicians at 16 locations. Our physicians and staff provide both non-surgical as well as surgical treatment for almost all orthopedic conditions and injuries. We are specially trained in the current state-of-the-art techniques. We serve as team physician and orthopedic consultant for over 20 high schools, Wilmington University, and many local recreational and competitive leagues. Our doctors are readily available to the local emergency departments as well as medical aid units and urgent care centers for consultation and treatment. Call for an appointment today or visit us at firststateortho.com. First State Orthopedic statewide has 29 physicians at 16 locations. Our physicians and staff provide both non-surgical as well as surgical treatment for almost all orthopedic conditions and injuries. We are specially trained in the current state-of-the-art techniques.
And welcome back live inside Delaware Live Sports. Nick Alessandrini alongside my broadcast partner, Joe Singles. Jason Mitchell, our producer, to our left. Nick Halliday running around, making sure we're all clear to go out here in center field at Clark Field. On to inning number 2. Seen 3 batters from each side, 3 up, 3 down. The defense and the pitching getting off to a good start in that first inning, Joe, as we head to inning number 2.
Yeah, both pitchers a little bit of control a little bit of control issues in the first batter, but after that they locked in, going high, low, side to side. Batters were off balance, both sides of that first inning. So we'll see what happens as the game progresses.
So let's go to it here. Cleanup hitter is going to be Paul Kamenitzer, the center fielder, to get things started here in the top of the second. He'll swing at that first pitch, get a piece of it. So 0-1 now to Kamenitzer. Again on the mound for Naamans is Tom Swayze. So 0-1 to Kamenitzer. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Again, small piece of it, a slow roller. Swayze going to cut up, get it, and make the clean play to first.
Yep.
So Swayze helps himself out there, and 1 up, 1 down here to begin the top of the second.
Yeah, that was an off speed. That was a curveball there, Nick, and batter just nicked it. But he got off the mound quickly and made the play. So
that's going to bring up number 13, Jaden Mitchell. Jaden out in right field today. And the first pitch from Swayze finds the strike zone. Again, your head coach for Midcap, Keith Hinkle.
Strike 2.
As Swayze fires that one in there as well.
Dropped it in there.
John Nelson, Dave Charlton, your assistant coaches for Midcap. For Naamans, it's Chuck Hudson, Dan McConnell, and Steve Cortian. On cue, Joe. What did you see there?
Yeah, another curve. Another curve.
We've seen 2 or 3 straight curveballs out.
Yep. Keep throwing it until they hit it. At this age, there's always conversations about how many off-speed pitches, kids should be throwing in terms of just taking care of their elbow and stuff. But depending on the grip and, if you got a good coach, usually you can keep any damage to the elbow to a minimum. The slider is kind of the pitch as you progress in age. You kind of get into, but at this age, we really don't see many sliders, just curveballs, change-ups, fastballs. I know every once in a while, of a kid with pretty big hands, just to kind of give batters a different look as we get a ball in there. We'll mess around with knuckleballs. That's always fun for little leaguers, to try and throw in there. Especially if you're a kid with big hands and you can get it to knuckle a little bit.
And they're a fair share. You see some of those for sure. Is that one rolling in the dirt? And we're going to have our first base runner of the evening. That's going to be Ben Charlton, who was at first base. He'll now head to first base, and that's going to bring up Brendan Zielinski, the catcher, with a man on.
And as you guys out there and gals out there know, this is the last year for a lot of these kids to play on the modified diamond. 12 years old is the last year. You play on the 60-foot bases and 46-foot mound that, everything bumps up next year, and depending on what level you're at, it can bump up to that intermediate level, which is just a slightly larger diamond, or you can bump up to the 90 90-foot bases as we get a strike there. Ball. Oh, foul ball. Right.
Swayze took him low and away there.
Yeah.
Is Zielinski able to reach out and get a piece of it? So 0-2 to Brendan Zielinski. Ben Charlton at first base, 2 down here in the top of the second. And here's the 0-2 from Swayze.
Yep.
Outside corner, Joe, and there it is
Curveball.
again.
Yeah,
Got him.
just dropped it in there.
Swayze, one man on as Midcap strands one, but Swayze able to come back and send him down with the strikeout. We're going to the bottom of the second inning, still 0-0 here at Clark Field.
Ferris Home Improvements did our roof, all of our siding, including our shed, and also the windows on the house. They did an outstanding job. Our house is warmer. It's insulated better. Our utility bills are down. Our quality of life inside the house is better. We got what we paid for. Ferris was right on top of everything from the beginning. The project managers communicated every single day that they were on the job, whether it was the roofers or whether it was the siding or the window people. All the guys that worked there were great. The girls on the phone, everybody that we talked to, they've been great to work with. I would recommend them to anybody. They take what they do personal, which is very nice. And it showed in the work that they did, the communication that they have, because they did a good job. And they did a good job for a good price. We couldn't have asked for anything better.
Your home, your community. It's not just where you live, it's where you belong. At Dover Federal Credit Union, we understand what it means to be local. We started here, and we're not going anywhere. We're as local as it gets, and we like it that way. We're not just a financial institution, we are the local credit union that you can trust.
And welcome back inside Delaware Live Sports. To the bottom of the second we go here at Clark Field, your District 2 12 and under Delaware State Championship between Naamans and Midcap. Is we're going to the bottom half. Naamans will set to take the plate here. It's going to get started with Declan O'Connor, Josh Steebley, and Jack Blunt, your 3 hitters. And that first pitch from Hinkle is in there.
Yeah, back to what we were talking about last inning as we get the second pitch of the inning here. Let's see what happens. Swings through a curve. You know, for a lot of these kids and what Midcap's pitcher's throwing right now is that 12-6 curve. You know, you get your fingers out, get on top of the ball real high, and swing through that. That's strike 3.
A 3-pitch strikeout to start the inning.
Yeah, but you know, you throw that 12-6 curve, it kind of starts high and just goes straight down, and that is usually less. Not usually, it is less harmful on developing elbows. So you know, that's what I threw when I was this age.
Did I, yeah.
It was at 12-6, and stay away from that really hard torque of twisting the wrist motion. And you know, so far for both these pitchers, the off speed looks really good.
So here's Josh Steebley with one down here in the bottom of the second as Hinkle has that one skipped to the backstop. 2-0 to get the at-bat started for Steebley. And Josh at third base today for Naamans.
I'm good. I don't work tomorrow night.
The 2-0 pitch, low and away. So 3-0 as Steebley heading the count here on Cameron Hinkle.
Hinkle just needs to fall more towards the mound. He's falling off. I'm sure you can see it, Nick. He's falling off to his left a little bit too much. And the ball's ending it up off to the outside, off the plate to the batter. So let's see if he can make a quick adjustment. Get back on track.
And again, with a strikeout on the prior batter, and again, those just the first 4 pitches that he couldn't find the strike zone so far here today. As now that's going to bring up Jack Blunt here for Naamans. Is Blunt out in center field, and he'll take that first pitch for a ball as well. Yeah. So now Naamans with their first base runner of the evening, and that one's going to be in the dirt, and he's going to take off, and he's in safely. Heads up play by Josh Steebley after the walk, and then going to advance on the stolen base.
Yeah.
So he's into scoring position now as we have our first runner into scoring position of the evening. It belongs to Naamans here in the bottom of the second. Here's the next pitch to Blunt. Up top, that's going to get by to the backstop as well, but able to go back there was Zielinski and make sure that he held the runner.
If I'm Midcap's manager here, I might give him a quick breather, take a quick walk out, settle him down a minute. We'll see how he makes out in this batter. But
back-to-back 3-0 counts. Here's the 3-0 pitch this time, and he's able to find that corner and a big pitch from Hinkle, showing that determination and able to get that one right where he needed it to be. Count 3-1, though. This one, once again, tails off, blowing away in the dirt. So back-to-back walks, though, here as Steeble and Blunt will reach on the base on balls. And now 2 runners on for Naamans with 1 down here in the bottom of the 2nd inning, and that's going to bring up Josh Rowe, the first baseman. So Hinkle will step back on the mound, and here's the first pitch to Rowe, and it's a good one.
There you go. Yep.
So Hinkle starts off this at-bat ahead here, 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Rowe, same spot, same result. And back-to-back strikes from Hinkle, and great response after the 2 walks there, at least so far into this at-bat.
Yeah, he calmed himself down.
Here's the 0-2.
Yep.
And got him.
Yeah. And that pitch was in there, Nick, regardless of the check swing, I think. So it's another off-speed pitch, dropped it right in there.
So a big strikeout there with 2 men on for Naamans. And that's going to bring up Kyle Mcconnell. Welcome back inside Delaware Live Sports. To the 3rd we go. First pitch to Jacob Allen is drilled straight up into the air. Underneath it is Blunt for the catch for out number 1. So 1 pitch, 1 up, 1 down here in the 3rd. As Tom Swayze able to settle back in rather quickly here, is now that'll bring up Carter Bogan in the 9th spot here for Midcap.
Boy, if you're a pitcher, man, you gotta love these first pitch swings. I mean, batters want to be aggressive, but as he steps off the mound, it reminds me of what was that? Was that Thursday night? Clayton Kershaw he took a perfect game into the 7th, and the very next batter, top of the 8th, he gave up a hit. But my point was that he threw 71 pitches in 7 innings. You can talk about but he carried that perfect game into the 7th, and
At least they left him in there this time, right?
Yeah. But anytime you keep those pitches down, that ball's going to drop.
That one's rocked hard. That's going to be our first hit of the ball game. Carter Bogan sends this line drive into center, and Midcap is going to have a runner on here in the 3rd.
Yeah.
And now here comes the top of the order now. It's the 3rd baseman, Chase Harden. Popped out to 2nd his first time up. We'll see what he can do here. And Joey, we're just informed by our man Nick Halliday on the way that this is going to work here. Not a 3-game series. Naamans, they are the team that has to lose twice. So Midcap going to have to beat Naamans twice. Naamans, if they win tonight, they are your District 2 champions. So big game for both of these teams here, and it's been a great one so far. And now again, here's Chase Harden with a 1-1 count here, with 1 down in the 3rd. Fouls that one back, 1-2. So again, Midcap going to have to get this game to stay alive here in District 2. Lights starting to get powered on here at Clark Field.
Yep.
And here's the 1-2 pitch to Chase Harden. Off speed, got him. Is he able to get that one up and in there?
Yeah, he fooled him there. The pitch started at the batter, kind of came back across the inside corner of the plate there, so wasn't too much batter could have done with that ball, even if he had swung.
Swayze now racking up the strikeouts here. That's going to bring up Carter Nelson. He struck out his first time up and got him out in front of that one low and away, 0-1. This one chopped slowly down the 3rd base side. Steeble coming up, able to make it, but not in time.
Yeah.
But a heck of a play at 3rd base from Steeble to come up, field it cleanly, and fire. Just the speed that time of Carter Nelson too much, and now 2 runners on here for Midcap.
Yeah, and that was the way he hit that, it was set up like a perfect bunt. I mean, there really was nothing the 3rd baseman could have done. He made a strong throw across the diamond, but that ball died about halfway between home and third base there in the grass. And
you're absolutely right about that. So here's Cameron Hinkle. Now your good chance to help himself out here with 2 men on, 1 in scoring position. As Swayze leaves the first pitch up hot. 1-0 now to Cameron Hinkle. He grounded out his first time up. The 1-0 pitch. Hinkle swing and a miss, 1-1. On a warm, muggy night here on Possum Park Road in Newark. Again, the home of Newark National Little League, at least for the moment here. And here's the 1-1 pitch. This one missing down and outside. Again, Naamans, I remember back when I used to play, they were one of the best teams around. 14 district titles. As this one's hit from hard into second base and fielded cleanly again is Hudson right there to make another play at shortstop. And he'll tag the bag for the force out and able to limit the damage to nothing here in the third inning for Midcap, though, as they do have their first hit of the game. They strand 2. We're going to the bottom of the third, Joe. Still 0-0 here at Clark Field, home of Newark National, your District 2 12 and under state championship.
Wraps, signs, banners, and promotional items that can help your business stand out from the rest. Looking for an excellent way to convey a professional image? Customized promotional products are the perfect way to target new customers, increase employee retention, and boost your brand awareness. Let the professionals at Cassidy Graphics bring your advertising ideas to life. Give them a call today at 302-326-2412. Again, that number is 302-326-2412. Again, Cassidy Graphics brings your advertising ideas to life. Wraps, signs, banners, and promotional items that can help your business stand out from the rest. Looking for an excellent way to convey a professional image? Customized promotional products are the perfect way to target new customers, increase employee retention, and boost your brand awareness. Let the professionals at Cassidy Graphics bring your advertising ideas to life. Give them a call today at 302-326-2412.
Welcome back live right here inside Delaware Live Sports. It's your District 2 12 and under state championship. Naamans and Midcap here at Clark Field. Hinkle back on the mound here for Midcap to start the bottom of the third inning. It's going to be Nick Ciratella batting in the 9-hole here for Naamans. And the first pitch to him is in there for a strike. Second pitch from Hinkle hits the outside corner, and quickly 0-2 now to Ciratella. Hinkle just misses that one on the outside corner. And I'll tell you one thing I have noticed here with both Swayze and Hinkle, both having success through almost 3 innings today. They're right back in it, one pitch after the next.
Yep. Yeah.
And, you know, we're used to doing our high school games and college games and stuff like that. And it's a little bit slower on some of the the older levels.
Although I mean, I'll be the first person to say how slow like college and pro games are. But I've got to say, in fairness, the you know, those of you out there who pay close attention to the Phillies, you know, the last month or two, the Phillies games have been moving fairly quickly.
That's what you love to see, right?
Them being referenced on some of the local radio stations, too, as we get time called here by the batter. But the pitchers are working a little quicker, and there is a pitch clock at the pro level. But I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it's translating to Little League. Just how quickly kids like to work. And, you know, the other thing is, too, Nick, is this hasn't started. This has been going on for a while, but a lot of the kids growing up are being taught right from the get-go. As we get a ball 4 here, the first leadoff runner or leadoff batter's on for Naamans. But a lot of kids come up now just throwing from the stretch exclusively. You know, whether there's a runner on base or not, they're not going to a full windup anymore. You know, Max Scherzer, you know, over the head, you know, full wind-up, so that also keeps things moving a little bit. I always like the full wind-up.
Yeah, you know, I was right with you, Joe. I did as well.
I like bringing my hands over my head and whipping my hands around as we get a – oh, it said it hit him. So it must have caught the jersey. Yeah.
And again, Hinkle's been great for the most part finding the strike zone. Just every now and then, just a few pitches get away from him, and started off that first at-bat with Ciratella out ahead of the count, and Ciratella with a great eye, able to get back in it and draw the walk, and then that one gets away from him and hits Swayze. And now we have a time here as Keith Hinkle, the head coach, and company going to go have a chat out with Midcap here as they'll get together on the mound. So Nick Ciratella at second. Tom Swayze was hit by the pitch. He'll head to first. So nobody down here in the bottom of the third inning, Joe, and that's going to bring up Peter Hudson. He struck out his first time, but now up with a big spot here in the bottom of the third inning. And again, remember, Naamans, they win this one. They are your District 2 champions. Midcap will have to win today and then win again in the Game 2 if it were to go that distance. And you see Keith Hinkle having a word with Cameron there, and now he's back ready to go here. So here's Peter Hudson. He'll square around the pitch from Hinkle. Gonna miss outside. So nobody down here in the bottom of the third inning. As this one gets away from Hinkle and gets through the legs of Zielinski. Is Ciratella, though, going to hold off at second.
Yeah, I think he lost sight of that ball. It looked like, I think if he would have taken off second, he would have made it in there. But
the 2-0 pitch, and this time Hinkle going to switch it up, finds the outside corner. So a big pitch there. He was trailing 2-0 in the count, and then he comes back with 2 straight strikes. Good response from Hinkle again, and now we're all 2-2 here in a big spot for Peter Hudson, the lefty. The pitch to Hudson takes a bounce off the dirt into the backstop again as Ciratella calmly back to second base. So Zielinski on the move back there, trying to keep everything in front of him. Now we've got a full count. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Hudson. Got him swinging, and another big strikeout for Hinkle. We saw that back in the second inning as well, and he gets another big one here in the third.
Yeah, good pitch again. Pitching out of trouble. We'll see what he can do here.
So that's going to bring up Luke Lysander now, who popped up his first time up. Now he steps in, first pitch to Lysander, trying to get him to chase that one outside. Good eye. Here's the 1-0. Lysander trying to went and go get that one. Good pitch from Hinkle, even things up at 1-1. So 2 men on here, 0-0 ball game. Lysander hits this one sharply to shortstop. Nelson able to make the play at second for the force out. And the speed there of Lysander gonna not give in to the double play, Joe. So now runners on the corners here with 2 down. And that's gonna bring up Declan O'Connor. He struck out his first time up, but he's the cleanup hitter, and he can really put the bat to the ball, and here he is now in a big spot, a chance to give his team Naamans the lead here in the third. First pitch to him, swing and a miss, 0-1. Declan at second base today. Swing got a piece of that one. So quickly 0-2 here to Declan O'Connor. Ciratella, he's at third. Lysander sits at first. Runners on the corners. In the 0-0 ball game, here's the pitch. It's hit hard to third base. Harden able to scoop it up and make the clean throw to first. And a big play there from Chase Harden at third base. And Cameron Hinkle able to get out of another jam here as Naamans strands 2 more here in the third.
Yeah, the base runners are there for Naamans. They haven't been able to punch anybody through, so.
Well, they leave 2 on. We're going to the fourth. Still a 0-0 ball game. It's a good one. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here live on Delaware Live Sports.
High school athletics is not what it used to be. The sporting goods industry has been disrupted, adding to coach and athletic director daily challenges. BSN Sports stands ready to change the fundamentals of our industry. giving our customers the advantages they need right now. Your dedicated local sales pro is supported with nationwide team service, including sport and category experts. Get the look of D1 colleges and pro teams with our program that streamlines ordering your staff apparel, player gear, and fan wear. Stretch your budget.
To the fourth we go here at Clark Field in Newark National in Newark, Delaware. Nick Alessadrini alongside Joe Singles, Jason Winchell, our producer, to our left. And guys, here we go to the fourth inning and a 0-0 ball game. I believe still just one hit. That belongs to Naamans in the Carter Bogan has the hit for mid-cap, and then the runners for Naamans were able to get on due to a few walks and a hit by pitch. And Joe, Naamans had some runners in scoring position the last few innings, just not able to get them around. And now here we are in the fourth, and both pitchers, though, have been excellent so far.
Yeah, and it's difficult on both sides when you're batting. Sometimes a pitcher at the other end of the mound there is having a little trouble with their accuracy. You know, sometimes you really have to lock in because you're not sure when you're going to get a strike. So we get a curveball there, hit softly to third, throw across, gets him in time. But anyway, you know, pitchers throwing a lot of pitches. Sometimes they're, you know, in the strike zone. Sometimes they're out. Sometimes it's hard to get a feel for what kind of pitch you're looking for. So that kind of also adds to the fact that we just haven't seen a lot of bat to ball, you know, so far through these first three innings. So we'll see what happens as the pitchers start to inch their pitch count up towards 85.
And that was Paul Kamenitzer, the cleanup hitter, who grounded out on that first pitch. And that's going to bring up Jaden Mitchell here as he hits this one hard down the right field line, but right into the glove of Mcconnell. As that one, maybe we saw probably the best piece of bat on the ball, as you just mentioned today, and right in the perfect position was Mcconnell out in right field. Yeah. So I believe that's 2 pitches, 2 outs here for Tom Swayze in the top of the fourth inning. That's going to bring up Ben Charlton. He did get on base his last time up. He walked. One of 2 players for mid-cap to reach on the first time up and down the lineup. And 1-0 to Charlton. Swayze missing outside, so 2-0 to Charlton here. Charlton, number 9, playing first base today for mid-cap, the lefty. As Swayze misses that one high and away. So 3-0 here to Ben Charlton. Here's the pitch from Swayze. And a 4-pitch walk this time. So mid-cap with a runner aboard here in the top of the fourth inning with 2 down.
Front shoulder, that left shoulder is really opening up. You know, as he comes to delivery, and he's everything's kind of compensating off to the right. You know, to that lefty batter. We'll see.
Good pitch that time from Swayze to start off this at-bat. It's Brendan Zielinski, the catcher. He struck out his last time, batting in the 7-hole today for mid-cap. Here's the 0-1 pitch to him. Nice pitch once again from Swayze to find that outside corner.
Just as they say that, he's keeping that shoulder tight now. He's throwing it right
down. Hey, you heard him. He must be listening to us out here. So 0-2 here to Zielinski. And Swayze left that one up high.
Yeah. Wanted to couple of our listeners out there get
they're gonna
call strike. Yeah,
and they got him down in a way. Swayze having a great fourth inning there for Naamans, and once again, Joe, it seems it's a pitcher's duel still. We're going to the bottom of the fourth inning here as Naamans will come up. It's going to be Steeble, Blunt, and Rowe when we come back after the break.
Local people, local decisions. Dover Federal Credit Union. Your home, your community. It's not just where you live, it's where you belong. At Dover Federal Credit Union, we understand what it means to be local. We started here, and we're not going anywhere. We're as local as it gets, and we like it that way. We're not just a financial institution. We are the local credit union that you can trust.
The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned, community-based news. Free to every reader, because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home.
And welcome back inside Delaware Live Sports. Nick Alessandrini, Joe Singles, Jason Winchell, Nick Halliday out in center field in Newark for your District 2 12 and under state championship game between the Mid-Cap District All-Stars and your Naamans District All-Stars. Naamans, your home team today. If they were able to take this game, Joe, they would be your District 2 champions. If Mid-Cap's able to win this one, it'll force a winner-take-all game, and it's been a good one so far. Both pitchers have settled in nicely, Swayze and Hinkle, and we've got a 0-0 ball game as we head to the bottom of the fourth. Hinkle still on the mound for Mid-Cap, and getting it started is going to be Josh Steeble here in the fourth inning. He'll take that one in for a strike to begin the at-bat. The 0-1 to Steeble. Hinkle bounces in the dirt.
Wanted to give a shout out, Nick, to a couple people up in North Wilmington, Stanuel and Matty up there. Hopefully Stan got his grass cut after the rain, and Matt can leave him alone about cutting his grass this week, but we'll see.
I'm going to have to get out there at some point, cut my grass. Hinkle low and away.
Another curveball there.
And we've seen some good curveballs out of both Swayze and Hinkle today. And here's the 2-1 to Steeble.
Yep.
And that's in there for a strike,
Yep.
but got away from Zielinski. So 2-2, we're all evened up here to Josh Steeble. He walked his first time up. And Hinkle wanted to get him to chase that one. Good eye from Steeble, and here we are with another full count. This time in the bottom of the fourth inning, and again, we don't have pitch count numbers on us. But we'll keep you updated if we get the information to us out here in center field.
Yeah, and both pitchers were making short work of the batters the first two innings, and now the pitch counts are definitely starting to expand a little bit now, but I don't think we're quite there yet as it takes a third strike on the inside corner there. I think we're quite there yet, but we'll see.
Not yet. I'm with you there. It was a quick first couple innings, as you mentioned. The last couple, some pitches getting away from them, but they still are still settled in, looking good. As Hinkle once again gets another strikeout there, and the first pitch in to Jack Blunt is in for a strike as well. This was the part of the order last time around where they had a few walks in a row. Did Hinkle here and able to get the strikeout, and now looking to get right here at Jack Blunt as well, who was another batter that walked and was able to get on his first time up for Naamans. So 1-1 to Jack Blunt. Hinkle fires that one in there. It's lifted up into the fence behind him.
I'd also be remiss, Nick, if I didn't mention I had the highest, very proud of myself this week. I had the highest score in fantasy baseball that I've had all season.
Oh, there we go.
And unfortunately, the team I was going against, Barrett's team, ended up scoring over 500. So it was the first time I had scored over 400 in a week, and Barrett ended up beating me anyway. As we get a ground ball up the middle, it's
that
going to
one's
get
hit
through.
hard, and it will get through for a single. Jack Blunt, he'll be aboard here in the bottom of the fourth inning with one out. Like you mentioned, a nice hit ball right up the middle, and seen for a second maybe if Allen had a shot at it, but a nice hit, and it's going to be, as you mentioned, a single for Jack Blunt, and that's going to bring up Josh Rowe.
Yeah, and that ball was hit hard, like you said. That ball was hit hard. Didn't really have much of a shot.
First pitch up and in to Josh Rowe. He struck out his first time up.
But anyway, this is my first year playing fantasy baseball.
I still have not tried it. I'm always wanted to.
Yeah.
As that one finds the strike zone
About
as well.
halfway
for
through
Hinkle.
the season, I started to learn kind of the ins and
Yeah,
outs.
right,
but
that's-
I was already 2-10 by that by that point. So
Hinkle outside corner, another good pitch, and that's one thing we've seen from Cameron Hinkle tonight is he knows how to respond after giving up a hit or throwing a few pitches out of the zone. And he's right back ahead here, 1-2 with one down in the fourth. The pitch.
Yep.
Got him. Strike three looking as Hinkle fires it in there, and Josh Rowe will go down on strikes. So that's going to bring up Kyle Mcconnell, the right fielder. He struck out his last time up. And Hinkle starting to find that strike zone and get into a little bit of a rhythm here in the bottom of the fourth inning as that one is in there 0-1. The 0-2 is hit up in the air into foul territory. Back behind the Naamans dugout. So 0-2 quickly now to Kyle Mcconnell. And again, just a few moments ago, Jack Blunt ripped that single up the middle. And Hinkle's responded nicely. So Blunt at first, McConnell in the batter's box. As that one's low and in the dirt. 1-2 now. One and two now. To McConnell.
Good pitch.
And a great pitch from Hinkle for another strikeout. And again, it's a pitcher's duel. Tom Swayze and Cameron Hinkle have been lights out here so far tonight. We're going to the fifth inning. 0-0. Naamans leaves one on. We'll be right back here on Delaware Live Sports.
We serve as team physician and orthopedic consultant for over 20 high schools, Wilmington University, and many local recreational and competitive leagues. Our doctors are readily available to the local emergency departments as well as medical aid units and urgent care centers for consultation and treatment. Call for an appointment today or visit us at firststateortho.com. First State Orthopedic statewide has 29 physicians at 16 locations.
Get the assurance that your HVAC system is what you need with Ambience. Ambience provides you with over 25 years of experience in the heating, cooling, and plumbing industry. The team at Ambience Heating and Air Conditioning provides high-quality residential HVAC installations, maintenance, and repairs in new and older homes in the Delaware, Maryland, Pennsylvania tri-state area. You may not realize it, but half of your energy costs go to heating and cooling. Make sure your energy dollars count and call us.
And welcome back inside Delaware Live Sports. Sorry, again, we have a big crowd out here in the outfield. There's a lot of people walking, behind us and around the cords, and we've just had our fair share of unplugged outlets so far here today, but we're working on it. We're happy to be back live. Into the fifth inning we go, 0-2 to get things started here to Jacob Allen. Swayze still on the mound for Naamans, and as we mentioned at the bottom half of the fourth, before the break, these two have been very good so far here today. I believe only 2 hits given up between the both of them.
Yeah.
I believe each team with 1 hit so far to this point. The 0-2, chopped down straight up the middle. Hudson trying to come over, and that's the first play that Hudson hasn't been able to make cleanly today, and that's going to go down as a hit for Jacob Allen.
Yeah, he just didn't quite lean down far enough. Just skipped right under his glove there. I think he's probably thinking he could have had that, but
and he's again one of the taller players you'll see out on the field
so
as well.
Longer reach.
Yeah, longer reach
to the ground for sure. Yep.
But a nice hit up the middle that time for Allen. That's going to bring up Carter Bogan. He was the one that had the only hit up to that point. He had one in his last time up, and a good pitch from Swayze there to begin the at bat. That one going to get out of the glove of Lysander. The throw to Hudson at second, not in time, and that's going to go down as a stolen base for Jacob Allen. And now he moves into scoring position here with nobody down, and now Midcap threatening a little bit here in the fifth. The pitch to Bogan. Swayze left that one up high. 2-1 now to count to the 9-hole hitter Carter Bogan, and then it's Chase Harden in the top of the order waiting on deck. Pitch from Swayze. That was a good one.
He's going.
He is, and
He's
I
out.
believe he's gunned,
Yeah.
and that's Lazander behind the plate. At least for me, I thought it was a foul tip at first. Maybe like the back got a piece of it.
Yeah.
It rolled out of the glove of Lazander behind, and Jacob Allen took off to third, and Lazander made the throw, and Steeble with the tag for the out. So now 2-2 to Bogan. Got him swinging, and 2 quick outs in what looked like, as we mentioned, that mid-cap was threatening there. All in a matter of about 10 seconds, it's taken away by that Naamans defense.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not. He kind of hesitated. Did the base runner there? Hesitated for a minute, then took off, and by that time, like you said, the catcher back there has a good arm.
So here's the top of the order now for the mid-cap district all-stars. It's the third baseman Chase Harden, still looking for his first hit today. He popped down and struck out.
Good pitch.
And Swayze again starts off the at-bat with a good one, as you mentioned, on the outside corner.
Yeah, curveballs. Both pitchers dropping those curveballs in there.
So 0-1 to Chase Harden.
Fastball. Sped up his delivery there.
And now Swayze, again, about 30 seconds ago, with nobody out and a runner in scoring position, looking to end the inning. 30 seconds later, Harden lifts this one to third. It's a hard hit ball. Steve Blake couldn't handle it initially. And that's going to be an infield single for Chase Harden on the hard hit ball to third base.
Yeah, it was an in-between hop for sure. Third baseman looked like he decided, as we get time called here by Naamans. Third baseman looked like he decided to charge it, and then he decided better and backed off, but ball kind of ate him up. It was difficult play either way.
One of the faster ground balls we've seen down this third
Yeah.
base side.
Yeah,
We've
got
seen some
on him
slow
quick, yep,
rollers.
yep.
That one, though, the opposite. And now Harden aboard here, and with 2 down. That's going to bring up Carter Nelson. He had an infield single his last time up, struck out his first time up. So 1 for 2 today. And now here he is with 2 outs, runner on the bottom of the 5th inning. First pitch from Swayze. Just missing, I believe, a tad high. And again, this is do or die for the mid-cap all-stars here tonight, as Swayze misses down and away. As Naamans, they are your home team. If they win tonight, they are your District 2 state champs. And mid-cap, they're looking to force a winner-take-all game with a win tonight. The pitch to Nelson, outside corner. Evens things up here, Joe, 2-2. So here's the 2-2 pitch from Swayze. Wanted to try to get him to chase that one, and it looked like Nelson looked at it, but a great eye as he was able to lay off it. Three and 1 the count to Carter Nelson. Good pitch from Swayze. Swing got a piece of it, did Nelson. And now, Joe, we're looking at another full count here in the 5th inning with 2 outs.
Yeah. I like how Swayze really pauses in mid windup. It's almost reminds me a little bit of as we get a ball hit.
This
to
one's
center.
lifted into center. It's going to be over the head of Jack Blood. And now the runners are off to the races. Harden will score. Sliding in safely to third with an RBI triple is Carter Nelson, and it sends in the go-ahead run in mid-cap. They take a 1-0 lead here in the 5th inning.
So the center fielder there, that was a ball that was hit right at him, which, you know, if you play baseball and you play the outfield, we know that those are the hardest balls to judge in terms of distance. And he took a step in first, and that's what kind of, you know, made it difficult. But I'm not sure he would have had it either way. The ball was hit really well.
It got to center field very quickly off the bat of Carter Nelson. But it seemed like this the first step. I think Blunt might have slipped a little bit right off contact. It seemed like the initial foot, he just slipped a little bit, and that might have
that might have been
him.
what I saw.
I think I saw the same thing. So just
I thought he
unfortunate
made a step in, but he might have lost his footing.
Yeah, I think he just lost his footing there. But again, you mentioned that ball got to center field quickly. Off the bat of Carter Nelson, an RBI triple gives Midcap the lead. And now here comes Cameron Hinkle. 2 ground outs to this point. He's going to look for his first hit of the game. And obviously Hinkle a fan of that RBI triple to give him the lead from his teammate Carter Nelson. So 1-1 to count to Hinkle. Swayze trying to rebound. Hinkle hits this one hard down the right field line into the glove of Mcconnell, who's made 2 very nice catches out there. And that's going to do it for the top of the 5th inning, but Carter Nelson, an RBI triple to straightaway center field. Scores Chase Harden after his infield single, and Midcap gets the lead. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to the bottom of the 5th. Naamans looking to respond right here on Delaware Live Sports.
Ferris Home Improvements did our roof, all of our siding, including our shed, and also the windows on the house. They did an outstanding job. Our house is warmer. It's insulated better. Our utility bills are down. Our quality of life inside the house is better. We got what we paid for. Ferris was right on top of everything from the beginning. The project managers communicated every single day that they were on the job, whether it was the roofers or whether it was the siding or the window people. All the guys that worked there were great. The girls on the phone, everybody that we talked to, they've been great to work with. I would recommend them to anybody. They take what they do personal, which is very nice. And it showed in the work that they did, the communication that they have, because they did a good job. And they did a good job for a good price. We couldn't have asked for anything better. Ferris Home Improvements did our roof, all of our siding, including our shed, and also the windows on the house. They did an outstanding job. Our house is warmer. It's insulated better. Our utility bills are down. Our quality of life inside the house is better. We got what we paid for. Ferris was right on top of everything from the beginning. The project managers communicated every single day.
And welcome back inside Delaware Live Sports to the bottom of the 5th. Midcap did the damage in the top of the 5th inning. They open up the scoring here in this one with a 1-0 lead. An RBI triple off the bat of Carter Nelson, who scores Chase Harden. So Midcap with a 1-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Naamans looking to respond, and I believe it'll start with Nick Ciratella, who walked and was aboard his first time up. First pitch as Cameron Hinkle still on the mound. Misses low and away to get the at-bat started here. That one skips in on a 1-hop to the backstop, 2-0 to Nick Ciratella.
So for those of you wondering out there, Little League started in 1939. A guy named Carl Stotts founded First Little League in 1939. And there's always like stories about how things like this get started, but the story goes that he was looking for a place to play with his friend, and they went to a field, and he tripped over a bush, and he got really upset, and said, "You know what? I'm gonna try and find a place where we can play we can find a field so we can play, so we don't have to play with all these bushes." So that's the legend, at least.
The origin story,
how
right?
Little
There you
League
go.
got started in 1939 as we get a leadoff walk here for Naamans, base runner on.
Ciratella, back-to-back walks for him today.
And Boog Powell was the first person to win the Little League World Series and the Major League World Series.
How about that? That's a good one there.
Yeah, that's a
I've
good
always
one. Yeah,
wondered that.
And I was looking, Nick, 30 Major League, 30 Hall of Famers as we get a swing through there.
Pitched in the Little League?
30 Hall of Famers played Little League baseball.
How about that?
And
Yeah.
they are all like
Little
the
League.
top tier. You know, Mike Schmidt. You know, you name it. The
Yeah.
top guys played Little League. You know, George Brett, Steve Carlton, a lot of guys. We get strike 3 there, right?
Yeah, big
First out of the
response
inning.
once again.
Yeah.
Joe, we talked about Cameron Hinkle. He'll
Yeah.
walk a batter, but he'll come out and strike out the next, and that's what we saw there. Swayze down on strikes.
And there's only been one major leaguer, or one person, I should say, in the history of. Well, let's see, because that wouldn't make sense. Because if Boog Powell won, and then Yusumero Pettit also in 1994, which is more current, at least for my age, so we get a ball rolls to the backstop there. 1994 Little League World Series went on to play in the Major League World Series. He was the most recent player to do that.
Yep, it's that time of the year.
Yep.
Gotta love it. As 2-0 to get this at bat started to Peter Hudson. He struck out twice tonight looking for a hit. As again we mentioned, Ciratella, he's on board with one out here in the 5th. A big swing there from Hudson. As Hinkle able to find the back of the glove, 2-1 now. Again, a 1-0 ball game here in the 5th. The pitch from Hinkle, Hudson hits it to second base. O'Connor as that's going to bring up Luke Lazander. He grounded into a fielder's choice his last time up, popped up his first time up, but also he was the one making the throw from behind the plate to get the runner at third there in the top half of the inning. Now he hears in the batter's box as Hinkle fires that one in there for a strike.
Yeah, it's interesting, Nick, because Hinkle's release point tonight on the curveball is very consistent as he throws one into the dirt there, and his release point on the fastball. Runner's going to go for third.
And that's going to be a close play there, and he's under the tag as Hudson slides in safely. Harden couldn't get the tag down, and now he's going to take off for home. And now we're awaiting. I believe he's in there safely. And now you see Cameron Hinkle's going to have a word with the umpire.
So umpire's going to call time, but I'm guessing.
And they're going to get together. Joe, what'd you see unfold there?
He took off for third. I guess he got in below the throw. He slid, made a nice slide to the outside corner of the third base, and then the third baseman was just holding the ball, and he just decided to take off for home. The only thing I can see nulling this is if one of the umpires called timeout. If one of the umpires called timeout, then it's a moot point, but I don't think, called him safe.
And he is safe. What a turn of events here in the bottom of the 5th inning. 2 outs after the fielder's choice. Hudson able to steal second. He then steals third again on the same play, and then able to come around and steal home all in a matter of seconds on one pitch.
But like I was just saying, unless one of the mid-cap players asked for time and time was granted, then that base runner had the right to come home.
And that's a heads-up play again by Hudson.
Yeah, and he ended up kind of having to sidestep his teammate.
So now we're getting word from our producer, Jason. The throw hit the batter, or hit the runner, I guess I should say. Let's bring in Jason Mitchell. Jason, what'd you see?
That the batter came in because he thought there was timeout.
Right.
The next guy up. So he got in the way, so they couldn't call runners interference. Again, it's up to the officials. If none of the umpires saw it, then I think that's.
So what do you think about that, Joe?
So if I hear what he's saying. So if the batter stepped into the batter's box, then I guess maybe that
the run, it looks like
the
will count, right? The run's going to count.
Yeah.
None of the umpires saw it.
Yep,
right.
So now the umpires saw it or made a call. Again,
yeah.
If you're watching live, you're able to rewind and take a look at it. But a bang-bang play there as Hudson able to come around from first all the way to home. And then a ground ball to second base as Nelson not able to get the throw in time. How about that speed that time? I believe that's Declan O'Connor. Or excuse me, Lazander still up.
Hey, Jay, you may be right here. Our producer, Jason, you may be right. I'm just not aware of any rule that says once the batter steps back into the batter's box and, it's time. I think an umpire has to call time, but I could be wrong. So it's definitely not something you see at any level.
I mean, this was an interesting play. Again, the pitch went to the backstop. Hudson was on first base, was able to steal second base on the pass ball. And then took off for third just because he thought he could get there, and he slid in safely. There was a play at third. Harden had the tag, just didn't have it down in time. And then it seemed maybe as if Chase Harden just, as you mentioned, Joe, just kind of after the tag maybe just lifted up, and Hudson just took off from third to home. Not sure if it was the third base coach that told him if he did it on his own. Either way, it worked out
Looked like he did
very nicely for
Yeah.
Naamans here.
Yeah. I mean, it looked like from all the way out here that he took it upon himself, to
And again, after I called that he slid in safely, I kind of looked down to write something down on the paper, and by the time I looked back up, he had taken off for home. Either way, Hudson ties the game here 1-1. We're still in the 5th. Again, this all started with 2 outs, and then there was an infield single that time for Lysander. And now here's Declan O'Connor with another runner on here for Naamans in the 5th inning. 2-0 to get this at-bat started to Declan O'Connor.
Curveball.
There's another good response pitch that time from Hinkle. 2-1. And trying to hit that outside corner. That one just missing. 3-1 now. That time he finds it. Full count, 3-2 here to Declan O'Connor, the cleanup man for Naamans. A 1-1 ball game. Runner on first. Here's the 3-2 pitch. It's hit in the gap here in left center field, and that's going to 2-hop to the fence. Bogan able to pick it up. He'll fire. Hinkle still having, again, up to this point, a great day. A few pass balls and just that weird, the weird stolen bases on the heads-up play by Hudson, who got this inning started for Naamans. The heads-up play from Peter Hudson, and then his teammates following suit. Lysander with the infield single, and then Declan O'Connor with the RBI single that got to the fence here. And now Naamans with a 2-1 lead here in the District 2 State Championship as Midcap struck first in the top of the 5th inning, taking a 1-0 lead, and Naamans able to respond here in the bottom of the 5th. And I believe both teams now with 3 hits apiece in this one. But 2 outs. Again, this was a 2-out rally for Naamans here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And now they're looking at a 2-1 lead. So coming in, we'll try to get you the pitch here coming in. And we're going to take a short break. We'll leave the video on here. We'll be right back after the pitching change here on Delaware Live Sports. And we are back here on Delaware Live Sports. Chase Harden will move from third base to pitcher here for Midcap. As into the batter's box comes Josh Steeble, and 2 quick strikes off the arm of Chase Harden. So Nelson will move to third. Harden moves to the pitching spot. And I believe Hinkle moves to shortstop. Yep. So 1-2 the count to Steeble after Naamans has took a 2-1 lead, and that's going to be all as Harden ends the inning rather quickly as soon as he takes the mound. But the damage was done here in the bottom of the 5th. Hudson started it, and then Declan O'Connor with an RBI as well. 2-1. Naamans has the lead. We're going to the 6th inning right here on Delaware Live Sports.
Welcome to Premier Physical Therapy and Sports Performance. We're a locally owned outpatient physical therapy practice with convenient locations in all 3 counties in Delaware. At Premier, we have experienced physical therapists with advanced credentials, but their hospitality, passion, and enthusiasm is what makes the difference for you. Find our convenient locations at premierptsp.com.
You may have tried physical therapy,
but have you tried Premier?
And here we go to the top of the 6th inning. Last chance here for the Mid-Cap District All-Stars, as Naamans able to answer the one in the top of the 5th with 2 of their own in the bottom of the 5th. And they take a 2-1 lead here to the 6th inning, and the final opportunity here, as we mentioned, for Mid-Cap. I believe it's going to be Cameron Hinkle to get things started. They're going to need him. He hits this one hard to third base. A nice play coming up and firing is Steeble for the out. So Naamans 2 outs away from becoming your District 2 state champions. Haven't been in the final game in 6 years, but have won 14 district titles. Not won the district title in the 14 years. Haven't been to the final in 6. And as we were talking earlier, they used to be up, it seems, up top almost every year, as this one's hit hard but way foul down the right field side. So Paul Kamenitzer, the cleanup man, up here in a big spot in the 6th. 1 down, 0-1 to him. He's grounded out twice. The pitch from Swayze. Swing and a miss. Now 0-2, and Swayze has pitched very well today. 3 hits. Just 1 earned. Here's the 0-2 to Kamenitzer. Got him looking. Strike 3, and Swayze and Naamans just 1 out away from being your 12 and under District 2 state champs. This team 19-1 in all-star play since they were 8 years old. They have been together since that long, the last 4 or 5 years. And they're looking to be your District 2 state champions, just 1 out away. Here's Jaden Mitchell in a big spot for Mid-Cap now with their backs against the wall here. The 1-0. Good eye. 2-0 now to Jaden Mitchell. He struck out and flown out. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Big swing and a miss there that time from Mitchell. 2-1. 2-1 pitch, got him to chase that one up high. That was one of the hardest ones to lay off when I was playing when I was 12, the eye level fastball.
Yeah.
And now it's 2-2. 1 strike away. The pitch from Swayze outside corner finds the strike zone. Strike 3, and Naamans, your 12 and under District 2 state champions here at Clark Field with a 2-1 victory. They score 2 in the bottom of the 5th. They answer the 1 scored by Mid-Cap in the top half of the 5th. And then a 1-2-3 inning here in the top of the 6th to cap it off, and a huge day on the mound from Tom Swayze.
Yeah, he looked really good today. I mean, he kept his composure, and clearly he's been well coached. He's been well coached, and dropped that off-speed pitch in there when he had to, and I'm sure he'll be on the mound at least for a couple of games against either District 1 or District 3 as we head towards the end of July. And I believe Naamans now will have the bye in the first round because we have 3 districts in the state. So if somebody gets a bye, and because it's a home, because this is the field that they're going to play on for the state championship between the 3, I believe that Naamans will have the bye, and then 1 and 3 will play, and then the winner of that will play Naamans. So
again, they're
we'll
looking
see how that works out.
They're looking for it, Joe, and I wanted in 14 years. Chuck Hudson has been with these kids since they were 4 years old playing T-ball. Dan McConnell been coaching them since they were 8, and look at them now, you're 12 and under District 2 state champions. Again, 19-1 in all-star play since they were 8 years old. Well, for Nick Alessandrini, Joe Singles, Jason Winchell, and Nick Holliday, we'll cap it off as Naamans, your District 2 state champions, with a 2-1 victory over Mid-Cap here tonight.